What's up everyone, Vitaly here, and in this video I want to talk to you about earning money through some sort of social media monetization program, perhaps a website like I have here that has ads running on it, and how the earnings throughout the year can really fluctuate depending on which quarter you're in, which I'll talk about in a moment, and how that's actually a normal thing. Because if you're someone like me and you're making money through, let's say, Facebook monetization, and you see a huge spike in earnings, it's easy to get carried away and think that this is just going to keep going up and up. But the truth is it's not. And the thing is, it doesn't always depend on you. In fact, most of the time it's because advertisers are not willing to spend so much money within the platform which puts the ads on your website or your social media page or videos that you create in the first place. And so that can affect your earnings, and this is totally normal. So here's the breakdown of what you need to understand. So there are 4 quarters in the year within which companies are willing to spend less or more on platforms like Facebook, like YouTube and Google, other social media pages and stuff. And depending on which quarter you're in may determine how much you're earning less or if you're earning more. So if we break this down into the different quarters, Q1, which is typically when companies spend the least amount of money, it runs from January, February, and March. And by the way, this can also be divided into 3 parts. Early Q1, which is January, mid Q1, which is February, late Q1, which is March. Same thing for Q2, which is early is April, mid is May, late is June, and you can say the same thing for the other ones. And so if we kind of correlate this with, for example, my earnings that I have on my blog where I have ads being displayed, these ads are being displayed by a company called Mediavine. There are other companies that pay Mediavine to put these ads on my website, as well as other people's websites, and we look at the earnings, you will notice that the purple one is really, really low for the first few months, but then it starts to rise as we start to get into Q2, and then Q3, it really, really picks up, and then kind of starts to drop off during Q4. So typically this is very normal within the field. So usually Q1 is going to be the lowest period where companies spend money. Q2, it starts to pick up a little bit. Q3 is considered to be the peak time for most companies to be spending money because of holidays, because of other kinds of events that happen, and then it starts to slowly drop off during Q4. So depending on what kind of social media account you have and what kinds of ads that you have running, you may notice the fluctuations correlate with what I just explained. So for example, with my Facebook page, I had, let's see, I started monetizing it around late September. I made about 100 something within October, 700 plus in November. Then it dropped down to somewhere between 400 and 500 in December. And this month it's going to be somewhere between 200 and 300. So a pretty steep drop in January. But if we correlate that with what I was just explaining to you with the Q1, 2, 3, and 4, it makes sense. I also did look at my profile when it comes to how many views I'm getting on my Facebook videos. It's a little bit lower than usual, but nothing substantial. So you should check that as well. If you're not seeing a huge drop in your traffic and your watch time on social media, but you're seeing a drop in revenue, it's usually because this is correlated with one of the Q sessions that are here. And typically what a lot of companies and websites and social media people do is they start to ramp things up around Q3, or at least a few months before that, like maybe the mid and late months of Q2, in anticipation for Q3 coming along. So that is something to keep in mind. It's a very important aspect of your online business if you're going to be doing display ads or perhaps earning through some sort of monetization program on a big name website like YouTube or on Facebook, things of that sort. And so this is something to understand ahead of time if you're not already involved in that. So I hope that this makes sense, and if you have any questions, let me know. But as usual, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.